What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the second part and the final part of how to create this amazing portfolio website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. As you can see, that we've added some JavaScript functionality that whenever you toggle on this button, the animation is going to play and it finds its way and passes through this hole, which is very cool. And this is all what we're going to be doing right in this tutorial. I remember that we have already done the part 1 of this portfolio website, which is this single page right here. So we did this single page in our last tutorial, and in this tutorial we are going to continue from where we stopped. Okay, we're going to continue from where we stopped. But if you haven't seen this video here, the link will be in the description. So if you really want to catch up with what we are going to do in this tutorial, you will have to watch this video and learn how to create this page alone, and then you can join us on how to build this complete portfolio website. With that said, I really want to show you that this thing is actually very responsive, and whenever you toggle on any link, it's going to close the navbar, and then we nicely scroll to the exact page that we want to go, which makes it very cool. You can see the over effect on these cards right here, which also looks very beautiful. And this is all what we're going to be doing right in this video. If I have inconvenienced you in any way, I'm very sorry, and you shouldn't worry, because we are going to go back to this section and then add this JavaScript functionality in order to add this auto typing effect on this element right here. So with that said, I really want to show you, as always, that I have already designed the project, which gives me the confidence to keep on coding, and it makes me feel like, yeah, I know what to do. So it's really good. If you know how to design, I would recommend you to design your web page the way you really want it to before actually start coding. So that's way it's very amazing, because you won't have to bother yourself on how to design each element, because you already have it designed with some kind of software like Figma, which is very cool. Very cool. And with that said, let's keep digging in. Let's keep digging in by showing you what we have in the folder right here. And inside this folder, I didn't change anything except that I added an image to all the images that we currently have in this folder. I added just an image, and this is basically all I added. Okay, this is basically all I added. And now, with that said, let me show you the code that this is our last section in our last tutorial. Okay, so right after this logo animation, we are going to start our part 2 right here. And likewise, the CSS codes, we stopped right here. If I could remember, we stopped right here, and we are going to start our part 2 right under this CSS code. And in our JavaScript as well, we only added functionality to the navbar, and this is where we stop. And right after this, we're going to start some new JavaScript functionality. Okay, so with that said, in this area we will begin by creating this functionality. Start by creating this functionality. So whenever we click on this button, the animation is going to play. So we start by doing that before we actually move to doing all this stuff. So with that said, let's get started. We're going to have switch wrapper. Yeah, this button. We'll add a class of switch VPN, and inside this button we will have two span. One, we can have a class of, we have a font awesome icon with a class of i.fas.f8 the play button. So we'll give you an alternative class name of play, and let's just copy it. We'll copy everything and then we paste it right under this and name it boss. Then we'll give it an alternative class name of boss, and here we go. So this is basically what we need for our switch button. But right after that, let's create our section 2. Okay, we scroll down a little. We have section 2, and here we go. And inside the section we have a class of my about wrapper, and inside is my about wrapper we have h1 for the class of about, and with the class of about we just name it about. We'll have this with a class, and it's going to have the value of me, myself, and I. Okay, this is what I got. So right after this div, I have a class of my story, and inside this div we'll have another class of paragraph 1. I'll just name it para1 so as to shorten the word, and in here we'll have a p tag of about 35 words of an Ipsum test, and let me actually cut it again. So this 25 word of one Ipsum test, I think this will be enough for the stuff. So right after this p element, okay, let me break it down. Alright, so right after this p element, this p tag, of course, I want to make sure that it's well indented. So right after this we're gonna have our image of logo, and then let's look for the image 55 logo, and then we'll call it an alternative name of logo. And right after the image and the div that contains the paragraph text and the image, we're gonna have another class of paragraph 2 and then wrapper. So it's going to be paragraph 2 wrapper, and inside it we have an anchor tag, and we have a button, and the button that we are going to have right here, let me show you. So in here we have a button, and the button that we have right here is the same thing as the one that we have right here. So we don't actually have to create this button from scratch. All we just have to do is to copy all the HTML code for this button and then paste it on this section. Alright, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna scroll up and then look for this button, and then we have to copy everything. Okay, so after copying it, we will have to paste it right here. So after pasting the code, so right after the button, we're gonna have a paragraph 2, and inside this paragraph 2, let's copy all this URL Ipsum test, and then we're going to paste it right inside this place, and here we go. Alright, this is basically all we need in our section 2. And if I should come back here and then refresh, you will see that we have our button, and then we have the about and the description, and then the image that we have corresponds to what we are having here, which is the text, the myself and I, and then the logo right here, and the two paragraphs for the button. So with that said, now let's start styling there, so that we won't have a bunch of HTML elements to style at the same time. Now, like I said, we're gonna start adding some style to our switch wrapper. So let's copy it and then let's paste it right here. So in here we have the position of absolute. We have margin top of 70 pixel. We have display will be none on bigger screens. Display will be none on smaller screens, but for now we don't actually need it, so we comment it out. And then we have the max width of 13775 pixel. Okay, so right after that, let's select our switch BPM, copy it, and then paste it right here. Switch BPM, and inside the switch BPM we are going to add some codes, but let me quickly show you what we got so far. And this is what we got so far, because the position is absolute. This is why you are seeing all this the button right there. So, but for us to know what we're doing, to see what we're doing very well, I'm going to comment all these sections. I'm going to comment it out for us to add our functionality in our style right here. For us to add the style, so I'm going to comment it out for us to style it. Then back to CSS file. In here, we're gonna set the width of the button to 40 pixel. We're gonna set the height to 30 pixel, and then the outline will be none. The outline will be none. The border will also be none. And then we set the border radius. The border radius will be 0 pixel from top, 50 pixel from right, 50 pixel from left, and 0 from the last angle. So we have the background, of course, which is this color, and then we have the color itself, which is this color, and then we have the transition. The transition will be the width of 0.3 seconds, and then okay. So in here you still have the WebKit animation, WebKit transition rather, WebKit transition with width 0.3 seconds, and then alright. So let's see what we got so far, and this is what we got so far. Okay, so what we have to do next is to target the span. We want to target the span inside this switch BPM. So what we have to do is to say switch BPM and then span. Okay, so we want to set the font size to 10 pixel, and then we have to set the display to the line block, and then the cursor will be pointed. So right after that, when we over this switch BPM, we want to increase the width to 60 pixel and that's what we really got right now. You see how nicely we over this button. So the next thing that we have to do is to add some pseudo class to this thing. So what I really want to add is this. Let me show you. I want to add this text right here so that anybody who visits this website will know that now you can actually play this animation, and you can as well stop the animation if you want. So what I want to do now is to say switch wrapper. I want to play this the wrapper, switch wrapper, and then after I want to add this text of content should be play or pause animation. Alright, and then the position will be absolute. We have the top with 50 pixels, we have left with 30 pixels, and then the color will be this color. We have the font family of la belle, or let me hide it in the code. We have la belle aurore, and it is the generic name is cursive. And then the font size will be 14 pixels. Alright, so now we want to hide one of the icon, so it's going to be the switch BPN, and then the pause. So that is basically the reason why we gave it an alternative name. As you can see, we gave it an alternative name of pause, and here we give it an alternative name of play. Alright, so we are going to set the display to now. So by default we are going to see one icon, and by default we are going to see one icon, and we are going to add our JavaScript functionality and dynamically switch from display button to other icon. Alright, so now we uncomment our text right here. We'll uncomment our text. Let's uncomment our text. Okay, let's uncomment our text. So, and now we'll go to our CSS and then target the section 2. Okay, so we say section 2, and then we set the width to 85%, and then we will set the margin 70 pixels from the top, auto from left and right, and 0 from the bottom, I guess. Okay, auto from left and right and 0 from bottom. So let's check it out, and now this is what we got so far. Alright, this is what we got so far. So let's keep on digging in by targeting myself. Remind you, if you remember, that this class name references the class name references this span right here, and we are going to style this about as well, but let's take it one after the other. So okay, before actually styling that, let's style this about my about is div which one, so here size towards the 5 rem, and then set the color to this color. Okay, and now we can style this by setting the width to 320 pixels. The margin will be auto. We have the font size of 1.5 rem. Alright, 1.5 rem, and then we have the font weight of bold, and then we have the letter spacing. So the letter spacing will contain 3 pixels. The display will be blocked, and the text align will be center. Yeah, we'll have to put the text align to the center. The position will be relative as well. In top, it will be minus 10 pixel. Left will be minus 20 pixel, and then the color will be this color. All right. So now let's check it out. And this is what we got so far. Okay, this is what we got so far. And mind you, we are creating for smaller screen for now. So when we get to bigger screens, we are going to enlarge or expand everything. Okay, so with that said, the next thing that we have to do is to add some functionality to this class right here. So that's why we set the position to relative, because we're gonna add pseudo element. So let's start by saying myself, and then we have before. All right. Set the contents to empty, and this is really what we want to do now. This is what we really want to do. Okay, the animation style, and then the horizontal line, while rolling. This is what we really want to do now. And to do that, let's start creating it. Set the width to 30 pixels. Set the height will be 2 pixels. That is the horizontal line first. And then the background will be this color. We set the position to absolute, and then we set the bottom to 0. We set the left to minus 380 pixels, and then the display will be none. But before I actually set the display to none, I really want to show you what we got so far. Okay, so this is what we got. What's going on? Okay, let's check it out. Okay, bottom will be 0, left will be minus 380 pixels. Oh, the reason why it didn't display is that this class is not well written. And now let's check it out. Okay, let's reduce this value to 100. I'll see. I don't know why it didn't display, but I'll check it out. Sorry. I put it 50%, and then pixel. I to see the. Okay, I was finding here the issue was, but I finally realized that I misspelled this class name, which is going to be myself, like so, and I set this to minus 380 pixel. So now if I show you the value right here, you see how it's being placed. Okay, so what I have to do right now is to to make sure that I style this button as well. So to do that, let's use a class myself, and then after, and set the content as well to empty. You know what, let's grab all these, and we're going to change the value instead of typing it out. So the value of this will be 50 pixel, the width, and then the height also to be 50 pixel. If you have the same background color, the position will be absolute, the bottom will be 0, and then the left will be minus 3 pixel as well. But we have to set the border radius to 50%, and then that is basically what we need to do. So if we check it out right now, this is what we got so far. But mind you, we are built for smaller screens, so we are not going to show this on smaller screen, but when we get to bigger screen, we are going to display these two blocks. Alright, so that is why we will have to set this to what? We'll have to set this to none, and then this one as well, we'll have to set it to display none. And currently, if I should show you, then I'm gonna say on a smaller screen, this is how it looks like. Okay, so with that said, let's keep on adding our styling to this element. And the next thing that we're going to do, we're supposed to create the animation for this already, but we're going to leave the section and we're going to have a comment here, so we'll come back to it. We have animation goes here, and we do the same. Animation goes here, and later on we will come back to this place and add the animation to this pseudo flag that we just created. So the next thing that we have to do is to select the p tag inside this my story. We're going to select this p tag, so we say my story, my story, and then the p tag. So inside here we'll set the width of the text to 90%. Like smaller screen, it will take 90% of width, and we'll set the font size to 0.875 rem, and then we have the color of this color let's change the color to this. Okay, so the font weight will be 300, sorry, and then we have the font family. The font family will be Roboto, and then sans serif, the generic name, and then the line height will be 1.5 rate. Alright, so in this div we have a class of paragraph 1, if you remember, and then we want to set the position to relative, and then we can have a margin top of 35 pixels. Okay, so let's check it out, and this is what we got so far. Alright, this is what we got so far. So the next thing that we're gonna do is to style this image. Okay, I want to reduce the font size of this image so that it will look perfect. So to do that, we'll have to suggest the class of color1, and inside this class of color1 we have the ing. Alright, so we set the width to 150 pixels. Alright, and then the height will be auto. Scroll down, and then we will set the filter, and then the opacity to 0.5, or change it to 0.3 rather, and then transform, and then we translate, or let's rotate rather. Translate. We will rotate minus 45 degrees. Alright, so after that we set the right to 30 pixels, and then the top will be minus 130 pixels, and let's check it out. Alright, maybe I still misspelled the class name, so let me check it out. We have para1. Let's see. Oh, it's para1. The hyphen is not there, so let me add it. Para1. Now let's check it out, and then you can see how it is. Okay, so on smaller screen, I don't want to hide this image, I want to hide it. So on bigger screen, I will place this image and place it there. So to do that, go back to my CSS file and set the display to none, and currently you're not gonna see it anymore. Alright, you're not gonna see the text anymore because this is how it looks like on smaller screen. Okay, this is how it looks like. And for me to be able to show you what I'm doing, let me minimize it. Let me minimize this, so that you will see everything that's going on. So the next thing that I really want to add is the paragraph 2. Alright, the paragraph 2. Let's target it and let's style it as well. So to do that, let's call the class name, and then we'll set the display flex. Alright, so we display the flex and justify the content and space between. Yeah, space between. Okay, space between, and then we set the next direction column reverse, so that the button will go down and then the paragraph text will go up. So paragraph, let's check it out. Now the class of paragraph 2. Oh my god, this should be paragraph 2 up and not paragraph 2 down. My bad. Paragraph 2 wrapper. You know, sometimes you will have to deal with all these mistakes once in a time. So I'll be talking about me, but I'm making a lot of mistakes, but at least I find solutions to solve those issues. And as a developer, you also face many issues like that. You will have to, you come across bugs, and you should find a way to solve the problem, and that's what makes you a better developer. So what I really want to do now is column paragraph 1, and let me change the value because it's not applicable to this. So paragraph 1, so let's change it. Okay, and the class name is missing. Okay, let me change it because I feel like I want to confuse myself. So this is paragraph 1. Alright, paragraph 1, and okay, let's target this and add some margin bottom to this. So instead of margin top, we set it to margin bottom. Alright, and then we'll create some space in between this paragraph text, and we're good to go. Alright, so the next thing that we are gonna do, as you can see for now, this is how it looks like on smaller screens, on smaller screen rather. But when we get to bigger screen, we are going to align it properly so that it will be able to fit in the web page as it should. So before we actually start continue with what we are doing, we will have to hide this button and then this text, because on smaller screen it's not visible, but when it gets to bigger screen, we are going to display it. Alright, so to do that, let's go to switch VPN right here, and set the display to the none. Alright, so now it's invisible. Oh, let's switch wrapper, so we are beginning to everything. Let's switch wrapper right now. So now everything is gone. Alright, everything is gone, and let's start continue with our project. And now we are going to set this in our HTML, and then to do that, let's go back to our HTML, and right under this we're gonna have another section. Alright, another section goes here, and in here we're gonna have we are going to have section, and then section 3. Alright, and with another class of my skills. Okay, so like so. And in this section tag, we'll have this one when the class of text, and then skills. All right, and in here we just write skills. So that's all we need. And right after that, we'll have a div class of acquired skills. And right after that, we have another class of description, and inside this description, we'll have page 2 of my coding journey, which references this site particularly, and currently is very hard, but all this one that I'm doing right now references everything that we have right here. So after this h2 tag, we'll have to run ipsum. You know what, let's just grab some text. Let's grab this text, and then let us paste it right here, and we'll have another one again. And then we'll also paste it again. Okay, so right after that, we are going to have this text of let's copy it. I'm gonna copy it, and then we have this span that says I am still learning because I have a long way to go. You understand? So right after that, we're gonna add this image, this skills image. Okay, so after this div, I'm gonna add the image, and then we look for the image file, and then it is called skillset.svg, and then we set the alternative of skills. Alright, and basically that's all we need in this section. So if you want to find out, so this is all we got. Let me show you, and this is going to speed enough for you to see clearly, but let us add our CSS style so that this thing will be very good as we are doing it. So the first thing that we are going to do is to target this section 3. Alright, start in section 3, and then we set the width to 85%, and then the margin will be 100 pixel from top and bottom, and auto 100 pixel from top and bottom, and then auto from left to right. Alright, so this is all we got now. Right after that, we're gonna target this class. And expand. We are going to target this class of test skills. Right, let's copy it, and then let's come back here, test skills. So we set the position to absolute, and then the font size will be 7 rem, of course, and then we'll have the color of 3A, like so, and then the filter as well, set the opacity to 0.3. Alright, 0.3. So after that, let's come here. We can see that in this div right here, we have the text, paragraph text, and then we still got the ing, alright, the image. So we're gonna copy this div, we bring it here, and then we add some style. Okay, so what we're gonna add now is to set the main ID to 100 ph, so that everything will be in the center. Like so. Okay, so currently this is what we got, and since we are starting from the very first, we are going to add all this functionality that's required. Okay, we set the main ID to 100 ph, and then display and reflex. Alright, display will be flex, and then we will align the items to the center, and then flex direction will be color. Alright, flex direction will be color. Now the image is too big, so we'll have to reduce the image as well. But currently, let us add some styling to this description right here. So we copy this description, and then we have h2 inside this div, so we'll have to copy it, paste it right here, and then set the width of the text to about 95%. Alright, so the line height will be 2 rem. Okay, the line height rather. The line height will be 2 rem. Oh, we are styling the p tag. Alright, not the h2. Okay, let's add some styling to the h2 as well. Description and then h2. So in here, you can set the font size to 1.5 rem, and then the color will be this color. Okay, so let's continue with the paragraph, and then let's add a line 8 of 2 rem. Okay, for the font size will be 0.875 rem. 0.875 rem. Alright, and then the margin will be 20 pixels from top to bottom and 0 from left to right, and then we'll actually set the color to this light gray color. Alright, and here we go. This is what we got so far. So now we will have to add some styling to this p tag right here. So to do that, let's call on description and then our span. Then we'll set the font size. Set the font size to about 14 pixels. And the font family like so. Will be this name like then the next one is cursive. Alright, so right after that, you're gonna set the color to be this color right here. So now you can see how nice it is. Okay, so the next thing now is to reduce the size of this image, because currently it is too big and we will have to reduce the image. Mind you, we are creating for smaller scale first, and when it gets to bigger scale, we're going to expand everything. So the next thing you have to do is to call on this class right here, and on this div, and inside this div you can see that we have this image. So we're going to reference it by saying acquire skills and then the img that is inside the div, and then we want to set the width. We want to set the width to 45%. Alright, and then the height will be auto. Okay, I'm gonna set the margin 50 pixels from top, from bottom, 0 pixels from left to right, and again, want to have some kind of animation. I don't know if this thing is too small or big, but maybe 45 is okay. So let's have some kind of animation. So this keep on rolling like so. You can keep on rolling every time. So to do that, let's add the animation. Okay, animation. We have the animation name is rotate, and to take 35 seconds animation duration, animation timing function, is in out, and animation period 1 second, and animation we have infinite, then the animation direction, reverse, like this. So right after that, we're still gonna set the WebKit animation. Let me expand it so that you can see it. So we have the WebKit. We have the WebKit animation, and let's grab all this. Okay, let's grab all this. Ctrl C. Ctrl C, and now let's paste it right there. Okay, so we still have O animation, and let's paste that as well right here, so it looks a little bit better. So now we'll have to add our animation. So to do that, let's call an add keyframes identifier. So we name it rotate, like so. And here we want to set the value of 0 at 0%. We want to set the transform, and then rotate 0 degree, right? So at 100%, we want to transform again, and then rotate 45 degree. So that's basically all we have to do. So now you can see how nicely this thing is rotating. I don't know if you can see that much, but now you can see how it's rotating, and it's very good. So right after that, we'll have to go to the next step, by creating this blog section. And look at the card, how nicely they are being animated, which is very, very cool. And these are all the things that we're going to do. Okay, so to do that, let's go back to our HTML, and let me put a comment down here that blog section starts here. Alright, blog section starts here, and likewise this place as well. I'll put a comment here, and I'll say blog section starts here. Okay, so to do that, we're gonna go back to, we are already in our HTML, and inside our HTML we're gonna have some classes that we add. So to begin, we're gonna say section, and then we have section 4 like so. And inside this section, we are gonna have another div with the class of blog description, and inside this div, we're still gonna have another class of blog heading, and inside here we'll have a header and a history tag. Alright, history tag of how I started blogging. Alright, how I started blogging. So right after this h3, we'll have a paragraph, and we had some, this that means too much, right? But let's write some text though. Say I love writing about my experiences and share them to the world, because I always knew that some people will benefit from it. So let's keep it that way. Alright, let's keep it that way. And right after that, right after the div, okay, we're gonna have this button. Okay, so we don't have to retype this button from scratch. We just have to grab it from where we are putting it. like so. You can grab it here, contact button, you grab it and then you paste it right after this div, right after this div. This block, and right after it, you're gonna place the button. So after that, now we have the block section. Okay, we have the block section. So to do that, let's create a class of block section, and inside this block section we'll have each one, which is block, and after that we'll have another class with the block wrapper, and in here we have the anchor tag, and I'll just create your next level CSS animation. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, I will have to add it in a tag, like H3 tag. Alright. So I'll just grab all this text. I'll copy. Okay, and then I'll paste it right inside the H3 tag, and that's all. And after that, I'll add the paragraph tag with this text right here. I'll show you. So we had this paragraph tag, and I just really want to copy. Don't know. I really want to copy this text, but let's write some. So line fundamentals of CSS things that will take your website design skills to the next level. Alright, so right after the p tag we're gonna have another anchor tag, and it's going to contain the text of read more, like so. And if I show you what we have done so far, so these are the things that we've done so far. Alright, so these are the things that we've added so far. The next thing that we have to do now is to start adding the style in our CSS. So the first thing that we have to do is to select this class of section 4. Alright, select the class of section 4 and then paste it right here. We want to add some styling to it. So we want to add some styling to it. We set the width to 90%, and then we set the margin to auto. Okay, so right after that we'll select on blog section. Okay, it's blog description, not section. Let me copy it and let me paste it right here. It's blog description. So, and in here we're gonna set the width to 100%, and then this description references the text right here. If you check the HTML, you realize that basically we are talking about everything that is inside the blog description, of course, but you want to set the width to 100%, and then the margin bottom is 70 pixels. You have display flags, and currently it is displayed as flex items, but on mobile devices you want to change the direction, flex direction, and set it to color, like so. And now you're gonna see it this way. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is to start the block heading. Let's copy it we're gonna copy the block heading, this one, like so. We're gonna add some styling to it, so copy it and then add h3, and then we add some font size of 1.5 gram, 1.5 gram. The color will be this color, and then the margin bottom, I'll create some margin from the bottom to be 15 pixels. Alright, now this is how it is. So the next thing that we want to do now is to select the p tag, let's call on block heading, then the p tag. Alright, so we want to set the font size to 0.875 gram. Okay, and then the color, will be this light gray color. Alright, so that's basically all we have to do there. So the next thing I want to do is to style this blog section right there, so that we have this nice over effect card. Alright, so to do that, let's come back here and select on blog section, just copy it and go back to the CSS file. And the first thing that we're going to do is to add the width to 100%. It's going to take the whole width on smaller screen, but when we get to bigger screens, we're gonna reduce the width. Alright, so let's keep on going. The width will be 100%. We have position, the relative, display, flex. Alright, and justify content will be set to space around. We're still gonna add more HTML element to it. Okay, so I just want us to start from 1 so as to see how it goes. Justify content in the space around right here, align items in the center, and then we set the flex wrap to the wrap. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is to target the h1, like so, this blog right here. So to do that, blog section, and then we have the h1. Okay, let's set the font size to 9 rem, and look at how big it is. Okay, 9 rem. Then the position will be absolute. The position will be absolute. Top will be minus 130 pixel, left will be 0. Okay, then the z index will be minus 1 or minus 999. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is to the color. Let's set it to this light gray color. No, not this. Set it to this color. Yeah, this one looks better. Okay, that is that. So the next thing that we have to do is to style this blog wrapper. Like this is the main card, okay, that contains the text and the links. So to style that, let's call it add the style. We set the width to 100%. Like I said, if you take the whole width on small screen, the height will be 3, I don't know, maybe 250 pixels, like so. And then the background will be this color. The background will be this color. Okay, it's the same color as the background color of the body. That is why you are not seeing it. And now we have dark shadow. And here we have set the 0 pixel, 0, and then the blurry to the 3 pixel, and then the spread width to the 2 pixel, and then we have this color. So 141414. Alright, now you can see the card right here. Okay, so what we have to do now is set the display flex of the item inside the card. You justify the content to center. Justify the content to center. Okay, the flex direction to the column. The flex direction should be column, and then we have the transition, we have the border, okay, border from 5 seconds, and then linear, okay. So what we have to do next is to set the cursor of the pointer, and the margin button. We set that to the itself, and then the position of the reality. Okay, the position of the reality, and the next thing that we are going to do is to target the anchor tag inside this. So to do that, let's select on block wrapper, and then the anchor tag A. We set the text decoration to none, and then we set the color to CF9051. Alright, so after that, let's style this heading 3 tag inside the block wrapper. Alright, the H3 tag inside the block wrapper. Let's style it. We're gonna increase the font size. Okay, the font size will be 1.5 rem, and then the margin will be 0 pixels from top or bottom, no, 0 pixels from top, 0 pixels from left to right, and 30 pixels from bottom. And now these are just okay. So the next thing we have to do is to target the P inside this block wrapper, the P tag, and then we set the font size to 1 rem. The color will be this color, okay, and then the margin button will be 15 pixels. Alright, basically the font size of all paragraph tag by default are 16 pixels, and the 16 pixels is equal to 1 rem. So basically we don't need this right here, so we can get rid of it. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is to add some pseudo elements to this card. So to do that, we are going to call on the block wrapper, and then we set the for, set the content will be empty, the width will be 100% for now, and then we set the height of 2 pixels. The background will be this color. Okay, the position will be absolute, and top 0, left is also 0. Okay, and then we add some transition of 0.3 seconds, and then now you can see the color on top of the card right here. So what I want to do now is to say, when we over this block wrapper, okay, sorry, let me close it out. So when we over this block wrapper, okay, then the before, you want to set the width to 100%. Currently the width is already 100%, but when we over it, we want to make the width 100%. So what we have to do now is to change the width of this and set it equal to 0. And now you're not gonna see anything, but you can over it. Now you can see overrated on this card, which is very cool. So the next thing that I have to do is to add multiple cards. Okay, like so we have multiple cards. So on smaller screen, this is how everything is going to be. And on bigger screens, when we get to bigger screens, we are going to reduce the width of this card, and then they are going to be side by side. Okay, so all you have to do now is to copy the entire code of this card and paste it a few more times, like 6 times, I guess. So let me enlarge it so that I don't miss out anything. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna copy the old code right here. I'm gonna copy it and I'll paste it 5 more times. Okay, we have 1. Let me add a comment. Tab 2. We have another one. Tab 3. And then we'll paste it again. We add another comment. Tab 4. And then we'll paste it again. So another comment. Tab 5. We'll paste it again. Now we have last tag. So let's paste it again. So that is basically what we have. Okay, so I could say that this is the end of the blog section. Alright, so let's check it out. I'm gonna see everything like so. And when it gets to bigger screens, like I said, we're gonna have some functionality whereby everything will be aligned properly, and on smaller screen, this is how it is. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is to add some padding to the card so that it will be well aligned. So let's add some padding. Okay, let's add some padding of 20 pixel to every element, and now they are well aligned. Alright, so with that said, you can add some different over effects on different cards, but if I say I should do it, it's gonna take a lot of time, so I will try to ignore some things. I'll try to ignore some things and in order to speed up this tutorial. Okay, so this is something that you can do yourself. And let's keep on with the styling that we are doing. So right after this blog section, we're gonna have our contact section. Alright, we're gonna have our contact section, and then, like I said, we're gonna have our contact section, and to reference that to you, this is how our contact section will look like. Alright, this is how it's gonna look like, our contact section. So to begin with it, we are going to start by with our section, then class of contact section, and inside this contact section we have contact description, and inside this contact description I have an HT tag with the value of contact name. Alright, then I have a paragraph text. and scroll down here. I have a paragraph text that contains I would like to work with great companies and to engage in great projects. Great project that will change the future of web development. So right after this paragraph tag, we're gonna have this span with the value of let's say talk about coding. Alright, so right after that I'll still have this one tag for the value of the contact. Alright, contact myself, and right after this div I will have all my contacts from. Okay, so to begin, I'll write contact from wrapper. So inside this we have form, and then the action, but we're not working on that in this tutorial. And I will have my input with the type of text, and then the placeholder of name. Alright, that's basically all I need. And now we had another input into value of email, and then the placeholder will be email. The placeholder will be email. Let me change this to cap lock. Okay, and then we have another input with type of text as well, and then we have the ID of the text. Yes, this will have the ID of the text, and then the placeholder will be subject. Alright, subject, and we have our text area. So basically I'll get rid of this column, and then the name of the text as well, the name of the text. So the ID, basically I don't need it, and then the rows as well, I don't need it, but I'm gonna add placeholder. Okay, and the value will be send a message. Okay, so right after this I will add this VR tag, and right under this I will have another input with the value of submit, type of submit rather, and then the value will be send a message. Right, so this is all I'm gonna have as my input tag. But I really also want to add this map. I want to add this map, and to add this map we are going to visit googlemapwebsite.com. And so like I said, we will have to visit the Google Map to embed Google Map in our project. So we have to Google Map, just visit this website, Google Map. So click on the first link that pops up right here, and here you will have to click on this hamburger menu on the top left corner. When you click on it, you should click on share or embed map. Share or embed map, and even before you share, you could input your location, and let me select on Texas. Texas, you will see. So this is the map of Texas. Alright, so you can click on this menu icon and then share the location of this particular place, and then copy the link. So when you copy the link, you will come back to your HTML file, and then right after this form tag, okay, right after this form tag, we're gonna paste the link right here. Oh, sorry, let's go back to it, and we're gonna share or embed map. And sorry, it's not a link. Click on embed a map. Okay, so when you click on embed a map, you can select the size. You can select smaller map, or medium size, or a bigger one. You understand? But let's go for medium size. Okay, so now we copy the HTML. So after copying the HTML, you go back to your index HTML file and then paste it right here. Okay, one thing I really want to remove from this is that let me quickly show you what we have already inside this folder. So this is what we have. This is the location of the map that we just copied, and this is what we got so far. Okay, so now we have to do the styling, but before that I really want to get rid of some things right here. Okay, I really want to get rid of the width and then the height, and I'll add it dynamically with CSS. Okay, and then I will remove the okay, that will do for now. So these are the things that we currently have in this div right there. So to get started by styling them, we'll have to select the contact section. So let's click on the contact section, and inside this contact section we want to set the width of everything that is in there to 90%, and then the margin will be 50 pixels from top, auto from left to right, and 0 from bottom. Okay, and the position will also be right. The position will be right. So the next thing that we have to do is to style the H2 that we have in here, like contact, like so, contact. So we set the contact section, and then we select the H2. So to do that, let's go back to our index, style.css. We have our contact section, and then we have the H2. So all we want to do is that we want to increase the font size to 1.5 rem. Okay, and then we set the color to this color. So right after that, we're gonna select the paragraph tag inside this contact section, and then we set the width to 85%. Alright, the font size to be 0.875 rem. Okay, 875 rem, and then the line height will be 1.5 rem. And let me change the color to this light green color as well. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do before we continue styling, let me show you what we did by the way. So these are the things that we've already done so far. Okay, next things right here. Let me minimize it so that you can see the styling that I'm making. And basically everything looks good on smaller screens, but not on bigger screens. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna have the functionality, we're gonna have different stylings when we get to bigger screen, and that is using media query. Okay, so currently we have to style everything as it is. We have to style everything as it is, and let's keep on styling by targeting this small span text right here. So to do that, let's say contact section and then the span. All we have to do is to set the font family of this span rather to this font, like so. And then we can discuss it. We will now set the color to this color. And it looks a little bit better. Okay, it looks a little bit better. And then set the margin 10 pixels from top and bottom, 0 from left to right, so as to create some kind of space. And make it 10 pixels, and make it 10 pixels from top and bottom, 0 from left to right. Let's check it out. We have contact section, and then the span. Contact section, and then the span. So the next thing that we have to do is to select the H1 tag that is inside this div. Okay, so to do that, we have the contact section and the H1. So this H1 is this contact right here. So we'll have to set the font size of this to about 7 rem, and then we set the color. We set the color to this color. Okay, the position will be absolute. Position will be absolute. Set to the left will be minus 100 pixel, and then the Z index will be minus 999, and then we set the opacity. Set the opacity to 0.5 or 0.4. Okay, so currently the h1 tag is behind the form tag. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is to start styling the forms. Okay, so to do that, we have to grab this class name of contact from wrapper. We'll grab it. Everything is inside this page. Okay, so we'll grab that, and then we set display to flex. Right, flex, and then justify content will be space between, align items will be center, and then the flex direction will be color. A smaller screen, that is how it's gonna look like a smaller screen. This is how it's gonna look like. But on bigger screens, they are gonna stay side by side. If you understand what I mean. So let's keep on styling them. You know, by targeting the form itself, and then let's set the width to 100% on smaller screens. The line height will be 4.5 rem. Okay, 4.5 rem, and then the height will be 50 pixels. No, not on this, not in this tag. So we set the font family. The font family of all the text inside this form. Set it to Roboto, and then we have generative sunset. So the next thing that we have to do is to target the input itself. So to target the input, you will have to follow the input plus the type of the type of text, and then I will column the input, and with the type of email. Since the value that both of them are going to have are the same, that is why I'm putting them side by side. So what I really want to do now is to set the width to 100%, and set the height to 50 pixels, and then the outline will be long, the border will also be long, and then we have the background. The background will be this. The background will be this color. Okay, so we have some padding, 5 pixels from top and bottom, and 30 pixels from the right. Okay, so right after that, we are going to have border right, 1 pixel, solid, and then this color. Okay, and then this color. So these are all that I have right now. So the next thing that we have to do is to target this specific tag, and we have to add different styling. Okay, but this styling is going to be applied on bigger screen, not on smaller screen. Okay, so we can skip that for now. But let's add the class of text. Let's actually set the width to 100% as well. The height is also 50%. pixel rather, and then the outline of the none. They all have the same value, alright? They all have the same value, but let's just keep it for now. We still gonna make use of it on bigger screens, and let's keep on starting the other stuff right here. So now let's start the text area. We have the text area. Okay, let's set the width to 100% as well, and then the height will be 40 report height, and then the background will also be the same background as this. Alright, so now the border will be none, the outline will be none as well. Okay, the outline will be none as well, and then we have some styling as well, and it's gonna have 30 pixels from all the angles, and then the color will be light gray color. Okay, so these are all gonna have. So inside this text area, let us change the value and expand text area, the place where I send the message. Let's check it out. Okay, send a message. Now it's all good. Okay, so what we have to do now is to style this submit button. We want to style the submit button, and then to do that, let's call on the input, and then the type of the submit button is submit, and now we can add the width also to the 100%. You know what, let's just copy everything right here, the height and everything. We have the height 15, the outline none, and then the border none. Of course, cursor with the pointer, and then the color as well will be the cursor as well will be this color. The cursor will be this color. Let me scroll down a little and let me change the color of this to this color, and then the background of this will be this one right here. So and then the font size will be 0.875 word, like so. Okay, so now let's check it out, see what we got so far. And this is our nice button, our nice contact button, our nice contact form rather. Okay, so this is how we go right here. So the next thing that we have to do is that I will add a class name, a class of map, and then I will add the width to the map dynamically by calling on map like so. And I'll set the width to 100%, and then the height will be 315 pixel, and then filter the color sepia, and the value will be 60%, so as to change the color of the map a little, and then the color, the object fit. I don't really actually need it. I don't actually need this object fit. Okay, so let's check it out, and this is what we got. Okay, on bigger screens it looks a little bit too big, but on smaller screens it looks perfect. Okay, it looks perfect. So the next thing that we have to add now is this video. We are going to embed another link to this website. Okay, and after that we will create this nice scroll to the top button. Okay, we're gonna style that as well. So to begin with that, let us add this to our HTML. We add this to our HTML, and I'll just put a comment down here that form section ends here. Okay, email, work section, or let me write my project section starts here. Okay, so with that said, let us add and before we actually start hiding the project, let us add the scroll to the top link, and here we'll have a with a class of scroll link like so, and we'll give it an alternative class name of top link. Okay, top link, and the extra that we're gonna add this ID and then the home. When we click on it, it's gonna direct us straight to the home page, and here we have our font awesome icon, then with i.faf.fe-home, or let's use arrow up, okay, arrow up like so. So this is the icon where we are going to be using. So if I should check it out right now, so you can see this icon right here, very small, and this is the icon. And let me use the opportunity to add this thing as well, to add my video project text, and then the video. I will also embed the video in stuff. So what I really want to do now is to create a class of project, and like so. And inside this project, I'll create another class of project description. And inside this div, we are going to create a string tag with the text of my video project, like so. I think I misspelled it. So my video project, and in here I'm gonna have some kind of paragraph with here also of the project that I have accomplished so far. Check out my YouTube channel for more, like so. So right after this div, we are going to embed the YouTube video that we are going to embed the YouTube video of my project on this website. So to do that, we are going to, let us expand this, and we are going to visit youtube.com, and we are going straight right to my channel. And in here I have different playlists. Okay, so and I really want to copy the playlist of this website right here. So now I'll click on share. So after clicking on share, I want to embed the video. So I'll just copy it, and then after copying it, I will, oh sorry, this is the wrong playlist. So let's go back, and then let me check out my playlist library. No, let me go to my channel, and then view my playlist, and I'll let you view the playlist. I don't know why these are not the total views that I have on this website, but anyway, let's just click on it and then embed this video and then copy. Okay, so after copying it, let's come back straight to our HTML, and then we are going to paste the video right here. Okay, so let's paste it, and here is the video, and I'm gonna get rid of some things like the frame border. I'll get rid of it, and I will dynamically add it with CSS. Alright, and then I will remove this width and height of this video as well, and I will also add it dynamically. Okay, so with that said, let me also use the opportunity to add the footer section. Okay, I will add the footer section. I will just say footer, and then inside this footer I have a class of footer content. Inside this footer content I have a paragraph with the value of text of copyright, and then let's use this sign copy, and right after that I will say built by, and then inside the span I will write almarex, like so, and outside the span I will just say 2022 and all right reserved. Okay, so basically that is all the HTML elements that we are going to have for our complete portfolio website, and this is what we got so far. Okay, I don't know why this video is unavailable, but the point is to make sure that we embed this video in our project, or I could select another video by clicking on another profile. Okay, so I will select this and select this. So after selecting this, I will come back right here and then I will paste it so as to change the value of this thing. And like I said, I will remove this frame border, and I will also get rid of the width and then the height of this video, and I will add it dynamically with CSS so as to know how it works. Okay, so like I said, these are the HTML elements that we are going to have. So to begin, we are going to style this thumb link icon. Okay, we are going to style it. So what we have to do now is to copy this. We are going to copy this name, this class name. Okay, copy it, and let's go to CSS, and then we have scroll length. So what we have to do is to set the font size. To set the font size to 1.25 rem. Alright, the font size is 1.25 rem, so the position will be fixed. But you know what, instead of scrolling, let us add top link. We have both classes there, but I think top link will be more easy for me to put it there. Okay, so position fixed. We have bottom, then the bottom will be 3 rem. Okay, we have background. The background will be this color 1B. Okay, one this color, and then we have box shadow. We have 0 pixel on X and Y axis. We have 3 pixel of blurriness, and then another 2 pixel of the spread of the blurriness, and then we have this color right here. So the width will be 2 rem, and then we have the height as well, it's 2 rem. Then the border radius will be 10 pixel for every corner, and then display grid, and then we want to place the icons right in the center of this little box that I created. And let me show you how it is. Okay, let's continue. The position will be absolute. The position will be absolute. Okay, the position will be absolute. No, my bad. We have already added position fixed, so no need of position absolute. So all we have to do is to set the right through rem. Okay, so now we should be able to see it right here. Okay, we should be able to see the icon right here. And now what we have to do is to change the color of the icon. Let's set this color, and I think we are good to go. And before we continue, I will have to add the animation, and I will call it bounce. Okay, I'll call it bounce. I'll call it bounce like so, and then we had 2 seconds is in and out, and then we have infinite. Okay, so right after that I'll copy it, and then I will add the WebKit animation as well. WebKit animation, I will add all this, and I'll add O animation, I will add all this value as well. O animation, and then add all this value as well. Okay, so the visibility will be hidden by default. Okay, but let us just hide it and comment it out. Visibility will be hidden, and the Z index will be minus 100. Okay, so now we create another class name of show link. Okay, show link, and whenever we double on this class name, it will pop up this top link icon. Okay, it will pop up this top link icon, and currently, like I said, let us comment it out. Using it right now, we're gonna use our JavaScript functionality to add it dynamically. Okay, so create another class name of visibility. Visibility should be visible. Visibility should be visible, and then the Z index should be on there. Alright, so right after this top link, you're gonna add the animation. So to do that, scroll on keyframes, and then we call it bounce, and in here we set the at 0%. At 0%, we want this to transform, and then translate y minus 7 pixel. Okay, minus 7 pixel. So at 50%, and we scroll down. We want it to transform, and then translate y 7 pixel, and at 100%, we want to transform, and then translate y another 7 pixel, minus 7 pixel rather. Okay, so let's check it out, and let's see how it is. Can you see now how it works compared to this one right here? You can say that it's the same thing, no difference. Okay, so now what we have to do now is to make sure that we style this text and then our video. So to do that, let's call out on this class name project. Okay, project. So copy. I thought we actually copied it. So we have projects. Okay, we'll set the width to 90%. Okay, 90%, and then the main height will be maybe 70 default height. Alright, right after that we set the margin. Set the margin 70 pixels from top, all from left and right, and 0 from bottom. So now with that, we are going to set the display to flex, so that the text and the image will go separately, and justify content will be space around, align items will be center of course, and on smaller screen we set the text direction to column, and then the color of the text will be this light gray color, this color. Alright, let's check it out and let's see what we have so far. And this is what we have so far. Okay, so now let's continue by targeting the H3 that we have inside this project div, and we set the font size to 1.5 pm. We set the color to this color, and then we have margin. So let's set the margin to 0, 0, 15 pixel, and another 0. So 0 from the top, 0 from the right, 15 pixel from the bottom, and another 0 from the left. Okay, so now since this iframe is in this div, we are going to target it by saying project and then iframe. So what we have to do now is to set the width of the video like that, the width of the video to 100% on smaller screens, and then the height of the video will be 315 pixel, and then the border will be 0. The border will be 0. Like I said, we will add the border dynamically with CSS instead of using HTML to add the border. So what we have to do now is to style our footer, and what we have to do is to call on the footer and we set the width to 100%, and right after that we set the margin top to 100 pixels as well, and then we have 8 port height, and then the background color will be this color 1 4 like so. Display good, and then place the text in the center of the footer. So this item in the center, and then the font size will be 20 pixel. Alright, so we have a span inside this footer, and I'm going to change the color to this color right here. So let's check out what we have so far, and this is it. And one more thing that I have to hide is the color, which is this light gray color. Okay, so let's check it out. And now we have this awesome text, and on smaller screen this is very, very responsive, and this is what we have so far on smaller screen. And now we will have to start adding the media query for our website, so as to make sure that it fits in all browsers, which is what we really want to work on right now. Okay, so one more thing, I will have to add some margin bottom to this text so as to create some space between the video and the text, and then after that we will start adding the media query for the bigger screens. Okay, so with that said, let's keep beginning. Let me add some text, some margin bottom. Now let's target this and add some kind of margin top of 20 pixel. Now let's see how it is, and it seems very cool like so. So I will have to scroll down, and right here we have our media query for our last video. And what I really changed here is I set the limit to 1034 pixel instead of 900 pixel, and it depends on your preference. You can leave it like so, and you can add it to your own breakpoints. But this is what I would like to use for my breakpoint, and these are all the codes that we added for the bigger screens on our media query section. And now what we have to do is to target each section. This one is already responsive, and now we have to target this section and then set the font size and all that to the appropriate width and the appropriate size that will fit in this browser. And this is what we're going to be doing right now. So right after this hack, I know that this is where we stopped in our last tutorial. I'll say media query for section 2 bigger screens starts here. So now you can follow along, because all the code that we are going to be adding right now will be for section 2, and then later on we add the section 3 and all that. Okay, now the first thing that we're going to do is to call on this class name of myself, and here we set the width of the text to 400 pixels on bigger screens, and then the font size, we'll increase the font size to 2.5 rem, and then we'll have the value of top of minus 130 pixel. Okay, and then left will be minus 55 pixel. Alright, left will be minus 55 pixel, and when you check it out right now, you can see how the text is big enough. So when it gets to the larger screen, that is when this style will be applicable to it. But when it's on bigger screen, this is how it's gonna be. Okay, so that's basically what we have right there. So right after that, we are going to increase the font size of the text of about. But before that, let us display the image that we have hidden. So let's select file 1, and remember that we have image in it, and we'll just set the display property to block, and on bigger screens you will see that now we have the image. Okay, so we still have some values to it, but currently let us keep on changing the values so as to make it fit the big screen that we are working on. So the next thing that we're gonna have is our about, my about wrapper, and about. If you remember, that is the text of about, and then we want to set the font size to 12 rem. Okay, font size to 12 rem, and you check it out right now. This is how it is. This is the font size, 12 rem, and the text is now on top of this text, because this is absolutely positioned. That is why we have it right here. Okay, so what we have to do right now is to display the pseudo class element that we have. So let us call on myself after, and then we have myself before. Okay, and then since we have set both of these values to display now we want to set the display to block, and when it gets bigger screens, you are going to see this thing right here. Okay, which is very, very, very cool. And another thing that we have to add is the switch wrapper. We have the switch BPN. Okay, we also set the display to block, because we have already set the display to none. Now on bigger screens, we are going to set the display to block, and I don't know what's going on. Let me check it out. Switch BTN, switch wrapper. Yeah, it's going to be switch wrapper, and now we can see this switch wrapper right here with this pseudo class effect that we have added inside as well. And now we want to align this text appropriately so that it looks exactly like this. Okay, so that is really what we want to do right now. So like I said, we are going to add reduce the width. We are going to properly align this text right here so as to fit in the page very well. So to do that, we are going to call on my story. If you remember the class name, and then the B, and then we set the width to 500 pixels. We set the font size to 1.2 rem. Okay, and then the line height will be 1.8 rem. Alright, the same thing goes to the paragraph 2 wrapper. Alright, and then we set the align items to center, and then the flex direction will be the row. I remember the flex direction was column on bigger screen. We are going to place everything side by side. Okay, so now this image we will have to absolutely position this image so as to make sure it stays right here. Okay, so to do that, let's target this image. Incoming. Let's look for the image, and this is the image right here, and my story, and then paragraph 1 in the image. So let's look for paragraph 1 and the image, and we could actually set the position of absolute right here, but let's go to the top. Let's scroll up, right up, let's scroll up, and right here I'm gonna set the position to absolute, and then the top will be minus 130 pixel, and then the right will be 30 pixel. Okay, so right after that, if we check it out, you will see this image right here, and these paragraph tags are well aligned, and this thing is also perfectly aligned. Okay, so the next thing now is to make sure that we style this thing properly so that it looks exactly like this. Okay, so now let's keep on coding, and let's scroll down back to our media query section for bigger screens. So right under this, now we have our start. So right section 3, section 3. Yeah, this section 3, the section itself, and we're gonna set the width of the element, the width of the view to 5%, and then we have some margin 150 from the top up to from left and right, and 70 pixels from the bottom. And the case is that we really want to create some margin from the top, and we really want to create some margin from the bottom as well. So right after that, we're going to increase the font size and probably well aligned this element on the point. So the next thing that we're gonna add is the main height. We're gonna set it to 108, and right after that, we have our text skills, and this text skills references this text right here, and we want to increase the font size. Okay, we want to increase the font size to 20 rem. And now if we check it out, you can see that the text is very big enough. And the next thing that we want to do is to target the acquired skills. And I know that you remember as well that it references all these things that we have inside this div, the paragraph text and then the image, of course. And what we have to do is to set the justify content to the space between, and then the text direction will be row. So instead of column on bigger screens, with text direction in the row, and now I will have to increase the font size and probably reduce this the size of the image as well. So what I really want to do now is to set the acquired skill img, and set the width to about 35%. Okay, and then the margin that we've already added, we want to set it back to 0. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is to target the text inside this div. Scroll down, and then we want to set the width of those paragraph text to about 500 pixels. And now we have the margin of 20 pixels from top and bottom and 0 pixels from left to right. And then we also increase the font size for about 1.2. Okay, so if you check it out right now, you can see this is what we got so far. Okay, this is what we got so far, and you can probably increase the width of this by 30, I guess. Let's check it out, and it's not bad. Okay, so what we have to do next is to target the paragraph. We should target the h2 tag. Okay, and then we set the font size to 2. Alright, so now if we check it out again, this is what we got so far, and this is what we got so far. Alright, so now on smaller screen, this is how it's gonna look like, and on bigger screens, this is how it's gonna look like, which is absolutely very, very, very cool. And right after that, we are going to make sure that this also too is well aligned. Okay, so let's go back to our media query, and let's say this one is section 3, and now we are focusing on doing the media query for section 4. And right after that, we are gonna call on the blog section. Okay, the blog section, the wrapper, like so, the blog section. Okay, we have the blog section. I think that is basically how we're gonna start, and then we set the width to 95%, set the margin to 0 from top, auto from left to right, and 50% from the bottom. Okay, we justify the content as well to the space between, so as to create some kind of spaces between all these all these block cards right here. And we set the align items to the center, and then the text direction will go up. Okay, so now we set the heading. Oh, sorry, my bad. This block section contains the text and then the block wrapper. Okay, contains the text of block wrapper and the text. Okay, so we want to set the width of everything, set the margin and the text property. Okay, so now we'll have to target the block heading. So we set the block heading to about 600 pixels. Okay, now we have to target the heading 3 that is inside it. Block heading. Then we have the h3. We want to set the font size of it to about 2. And then likewise, the paragraph that we have inside it, we also want to set the font size to about 1.2, okay? So if we check it out, this is what we got so far. And then we have to target this card itself, or we have to set the display of this to flex so that there will be some kind of space between them, and after that we reduce the weight of this card. Okay, so now to do that, let's call on the block wrapper. Okay, the block wrapper, and we set the width to about 350 pixels. Okay, so if I show you right now, you can see that we have some space right now between each and every card right here. Likewise this. Okay, so now I will adjust this and set the display to flex so as to make it look like this. Okay, so to do that, let me increase the font size of the block. We're gonna increase the font size of the block. So we'll have block section, and then we have each one. So inside it we'll have font size of 20 rel, and then I'll set the top property to minus 250 pixels. Okay, so if I check it out right now, this is how it looks like. Okay, this is how it looks like. And now let us instead of block section, we don't want to set it to block description. Sorry. So that is why this thing did not, the display flex property wasn't added because I spelled the class name for another thing. And right after this block section h1, we have block wrapper and h3. Okay, we have block wrapper, and then the h3. I want to set the font size to rel. Okay, so if I should check it out as well, now you see that these tests are big enough right now, and on smaller screen they look like this, and on bigger screens they look like this. So the next thing that we have to do is to work on this input element. So let us target it, and right after here we have contact section. Okay, so right after that we're gonna set the width of the contact section. I'll set the width to about 95 to 93%, I guess, and then the margin will be 150 from the top and bottom, 0 from left, 0 from the bottom, and auto from the right. Okay, which means that there will be no space, and there will be no space in the right and the bottom, but all the available width will be will fall into the left. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is to set the contact section to h2. Here we want to set the font size for about 1.2 rel, and then the line height will be 1.8 rel. Okay, so now the text contact section, and then the paragraph text. Okay, I want to set the width to about 600 pixels. Maybe I should keep on showing you. I will set the width to about 600 pixels, and I will also increase the font size to about 1.2 rem, and then the line height as well. Line height as well will be 1.8 rem. Okay, so right after that, we have some kind of a big text right here, which is the contact text. Inside this contact section, right, we have this big text, and then we have to target it, set the h1, and then the font size of the text from the 13 rem. Alright, in the left property will be -1 pixel, and the top will be 200 pixels. Alright, so now we really want to set the contact section, and then h1 contact section. Okay, I have already done that. So now we have to call on the contact from wrapper, the contact from wrapper that wraps all the form and then we map together. Okay, and we want to set the next direction to row. Okay, and then the position will be relative. Okay, currently you might not see anything special, but we will have to reduce the width of this input so as to fit in this available space that we have right here. So to do that, we will have to call on the input, and what the type of text. Okay, type of text, and then we call on the input with the type of email. Alright, and then we want to set the width to about 248 pixels. Okay, we want to set the width to about 248 pixels. That is basically what we want right here, and again we have to select the text, the ID of text that I have right here. I have to select the ID and give it a different value, and then the text area, of course, they are both going to get the same value. So I will give them the width of about 500 pixels, like so. 500 pixels. Likewise, the submit button, type, and then have submit. I want to change the value as well and set the width to about 150 pixels. So if we check it out right now, this is how we got. Okay, this is how we got. So another thing that I really want to do is that I want to make sure that this map is long enough. I want to increase the height of this map, and this is what I will do right now by saying map. The width should be about 800 pixels. Then the height like so. Want to be 700 pixels. Well, let me check it out and see how it looks like. It's cool, but let me increase the width and let me set it to about 900 pixels, like so. So I hope this will be better, and let's check it out, and it's actually better. Okay, it's actually better, and what we have to do right now is to make sure that these projects are also well aligned on bigger screens. Okay, we are well aligned on bigger screens, and what we are going to do now is to say here project section starts here. Alright, so we'll call on the project and we'll set the margin that we added from the top. We set it back to 0. From left to right, we do the auto, and the text direction will be what in the row. Okay, so the project description, I want to set the width for about 500 pixels, and then the color, of course, will be this light gray color, like so. And now let's check it out, see what we got so far, and this is what we got so far. Now we'll have to reduce the width of this project image, but before that we have to increase the font size. We have project h3, then the font size will be 2 rem, and the color will be this color right here, and then we'll set the margin to 0, 0, 15 pixels, and then 0. Okay, so if you check it out, this is how it is. Now we'll have to reduce this width, and to do that, let me call on the project. I know we have this iframe inside it, and set the width to 560 pixels, and then the height will be 315 pixels. Okay, 315 pixels. Now let's check it out, and this is how it is. And right now we'll have to reduce the width of this text so as to make it a little bit shorter. And to do that, let's just target the project description and then the paragraph tag. Okay, now let's see. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I should reduce the width of this to about 300. And now let's check it out. Okay, something is going on. Let's track our HTML and then look for the tag. So we have project description. Okay, project description, and it's not projects, it's project. Okay, and now let's set the width back to 500 pixels, and now we are good to go. Okay, we are good to go. So these are the things that we have on our portfolio website. Okay, so on smaller screen it looks like this, alright, and on bigger screens it looks like this. And mind you that we will have to add another breakpoint. Okay, we will have to add another breakpoint, because when you check it right now, when it gets to about 500 pixels width, the design will look somehow. So that is why we need to add another media query to add different style to it. But the link will be in the description below. We can copy all the media query file and then try it out. So the next thing that we're going to do in the next video right now is to add all this JavaScript functionality so as to make it very interactive and very cool. So with that said, we'll come back to our JavaScript, and right after this place we'll start adding our functionality. So before we actually start adding our JavaScript functionality, I would like to explain what we are going to be doing. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. If you look at the completed project, you can see that when you click on any link, we are going to nicely close our navbar, and then we will scroll nicely to that particular section, right? So in our last tutorial we didn't add anything of such, but in this tutorial we are going to add some functionality to those links, that whenever we click on any link, we're gonna close the navbar easily and then scroll to the specific page that we want to go. Okay, so this is our current page, and you can see that right now nothing of such is applicable to it as long as I am clicking, and nothing is happening unless I close the navbar. And this is just the functionality that we added in our last tutorial. So to add the functionality of clicking the link and then closing the navbar and then scrolling to the specific page, we are going to do some things like what? We are going to add a class name to let's scroll up, and then we get the links, and you can see I already added class name of links to this. And if you check your last tutorial, this class of link was not added to the project, but in this project I have already added this class of links to all the li tag on our navbar, on our nav links. Okay, I have already added the class of nav link, and if you really want to follow along, make sure that you add this class of nav link to all your li tags. And on this social icon as well, whenever you click on any social media icon in the navbar, you will close the navbar, and then it will direct you to the specific social media profile that you want to go. Okay, so with that said, make sure that you study this thing very well before you actually start coding. And if you really lost track of how to achieve this process, like I said, the complete source code will be on my Github profile. You can go there and then copy the entire code so as to study how it works. So this is what I want to do. I want to select all these links. Okay, I want to select all these links with JavaScript and then add some kind of functionality to it. So how did I really want it to happen? First of all, let me add a comment. Select all the links. Okay, const links equals to document that query selector all. Okay, and then query selector all, and then the name of the class name is this link. Alright, so right after that we will use our method. For each method on this variable next step for each, and we'll have our callback function, and inside this parameter we will add the value of links item like so, and right after that we will have access to all the links by calling the links item that we pass as the parameter. And then we want to add the event listener to all the links in our HTML. Okay, we want to add the event listener, and then we want to leave it to click event. Alright, now we have our callback function. So what we really want to do now is that we want to add some kind of functionality to this to the links, whereby whenever we click on the link, we are going to close the navbar. Alright, we want to close the navbar, and then we want to go straight to where the exact section is. So what we really want to do now is to pass in our parameter right here. Just call it item, but it doesn't really matter. And like I said, whenever we click on this link, we want to close the navbar. So here is the code for the navbar. Alright, we want to set the links container. We want to set the height of the links container back to 0 whenever we click on the link, and then let's copy it and then paste it right here, and you will see that it will actually work whenever we click on this. Or maybe something is going on. Let me check it out. You know what? We don't have any bug right here, but let's go and then let's refresh the web page. Okay, now let's click on it again. And now look at how nicely we close the navbar. But one thing is not going well. As we close the navbar by clicking on the link, the cross button didn't change to the normal up button menu. Currently, the icon is showing us to close the navbar, but we have already closed the navbar by clicking on the links. Okay, so what we really have to do now is to add the functionality that when we click on the link, we want to set the toggle VPN times the style of the display. We want to set it to block, and then the bars we want to set it to none. Okay, so we're gonna copy this code as well and then paste it right here. We're gonna paste it right here, and then whenever we click on this, you can see whenever we toggle on this link, that we change the icon back to its normal position instead of displaying the cross time whenever we toggle on this nav link. Okay, so this is the first step, and this is the result of what we wanted to do. And the next thing for us is to add some HTML code for us to nicely scroll to the specific page that we really want. So to do that, we're gonna go to our CSS file, and right before the body tag, we're gonna have our HTML, and we wanna set the scroll behavior to smooth. So right after that, I have added a specific ID. I have added a specific ID of this li links, and then tag. I have added a specific ID, and I'm going to reference this ID to each specific page. For example, whenever I click on this link, I want to nicely scroll to a specific page. So to reference that, I'm going to copy this about ID and then scroll down to about section. Alright, then I'll scroll down to about section, and this is about section, and all I really have to do is to say the ID should reference the about section. Okay, the ID should reference the about section, and whenever I try to click on this, look at how nicely I scroll to that specific page. Okay, the same thing applicable to this side. Whenever you click on this, the nav bar will be closed, and then we will nicely scroll to that particular section. So this is the functionality that with this CSS style that we have to add to every element. So what you have to do now is to make sure that you select the ID of the links. You should select the name of the ID and scroll down to that specific section, and right here just add the ID and then the name of the value, which is masking. So if you go back and then you click on this, you'll see that you nicely scroll down to this particular section, which is very, very, very cool. And this is what we're gonna add to this all element as well. We have to add for this, and then this, and then this as well. So let's do that. Let's scroll back to the top, and then let's look for the ID name. This one is blog. Let's copy it, and then let's scroll. The next one is contact, and then the next one is work. Okay, so let's go down to blog section. So when you get to blog section, right here, which is blog section, you add the ID of blog, and that is all you have to do. So this particular ID references the links that we are going to click on for us to be directed to this section right here on the same web page. So the next thing that we have to do is to target the contact section, and all we have to do is to add the ID of contact, so as to reference the ID of the link that we have above. And the same thing goes to my project. We have the ID of work, and that's all we have to do. So whenever you click on any link like so, it's going to direct you to that specific area, okay? So which is very, very, very amazing, and I recommend you that you should learn how to do that as well. So the next thing that we're going to add in another functionality that we're going to add is the auto typing effect. I know that in our last tutorial we didn't add any auto typing effect to this text right here, so we are going to add the auto typing effect dynamically with JavaScript. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is to go to auto typing JavaScript library. All right, so I'll show you in a couple of seconds, but for now let's come back to our JavaScript file. So what we're going to do right now is to add some comment right here and say auto typing effect using JavaScript library. We're gonna use the library to create our auto typing effect. So the first thing that we have to do is to go to go to Google, or just go straight to or go to types.js. Yeah, I'm sorry, type.js, and right here click on the second link with the name of mathboats.com. click on it, and then it's going to direct you to a specific page, and then just click on view on GitHub so as to follow all the guidelines that you really need to you make use of this auto typing effect. So there are different ways for you to install this library on your local computer, and in our case we are not going to use npm or any other thing. We are just going to grab this code and then paste it in our HTML file. And if you really want to know how to use it properly, just visit the GitHub profile so as to learn how to make use of this library to execute your auto typing effect. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna come right here down, and then we'll paste the link down below. Okay, so right after that, the next thing that we are going to do is to actually, we have already added code the text right here, by specifying the value already. So now we're going to remove it and add it dynamically with JavaScript. So what we are going to do now is to go back to our HTML, and then we should locate where the text is, then scroll to the top, and now you can see that right here I have the text I am plus the image logo, and then I created a class, a span, and a class of the type. Okay, a class of the type, and then a span. If you don't really have it yet, you can add this span or add a class name of prototype, and then get rid of this text. Okay, we get rid of this text, and we are going to add the text dynamically by calling on this class name in JavaScript. So if you should look at our web page currently, you can only see the image, but the text is gone. So what we have to do now is to go to our jest, and then we create a variable const, and we name it let's name it typed. Alright, typed, and it should be equals to new type, and make sure that you follow the process very well so as to make sure that you execute it very well. And the next thing that we are going to do is to call the class name. right here of the type. Okay, let's grab it, let's copy, and in here we are going to enclose it with a quotation mark, and then the class, the dot notation, and then the name of the class name. Alright, so right after the ending quote, we are going to add our curly bracket, and inside this curly bracket we are going to add the strings that we really want to represent. Okay, the string, it's not strings that we really want to represent over there, which is going to be the max. Okay, this is a string that we really want to represent. You can have as many strings as you want, or you just have to do it by separating it with comma and then add as many strings as you want. But in my case, this is the only string that I will add, and right after the bracket you should add a comma, not semicolon. Okay, so after that you should specify the speed at which you really want the auto typing to take place, and in my own case it will be 220, and then the back speed as well, the back speed of the text will also be what, 220. Okay, so right after that I want to loop through the text, and I want to set the Boolean value to true, so it will loop over and over and over and over again as long as there is internet connection for it to keep on looping. And if you should check it out right now, you will see that it works perfectly fine. And let me check it out. Something is going on. It is very fast, so I added one tap. So the type speed shouldn't be typed speed, it is type speed. So let's check it out right now, and you can see that this thing is doing normal as it should. So with that said, the next functionality that we are going to add now is that whenever we click on this button, we want to animate this thing. Okay, whenever I click on this button, we want to animate this thing. So before we add our Javascript functionality, we will actually first of all set the animation of this, and we are going to do that with CSS. So what we have to do is to scroll to the particular section, which is myself, and then the pseudo class. I think I have already done that. So we'll have to scroll to that particular section. Alright, so here we go. Now our animation goes here. Okay, so the name of the class name that we are going to add will be animate. Okay, so right after that we want to select myself, and then after we add after pseudo class, and then whenever we click on this class name, all these tags that we have right here will be affected, will reference this particular CSS properties and values right here. Okay, so what I want to do now is to set the animation name to ball, and then this in out infinite. I'll set infinite and then alternate. Alright, alternate, and the same thing with the WebKit animation. WebKit animation, the same thing. So I'll have to grab all these properties value that I have here, and the same thing with O animation. We still have to add them right here. So now I want to create the active frame rules, and also I'll set the identifier to ball. And what I have to do now is to say at 0%, I really want this ball to transform, and then translate x 0, and at 28%, not only do I really want to transform, not at 28%, I want to change the Z index to minus 999, and at 100%, and I really want to transform and translate X 325 pixel. So all the calculation have already been made so as to make sure that I achieve the exact value. So now we want to create our JavaScript functionality. Okay, whereby we will have to select some elements and then add some functionality to it. Okay, so to get started, we are going to have a bunch of query selectors. Okay, let's go to our JavaScript, and before the auto typing section, we'll say add functionality to the rolling bar animation, and now we are going to select a bunch of things. For example, we are going to select myself, like the class of myself, since we've already added some CSS property to it. So we are going to select that with our JavaScript. In our JavaScript, we are going to select this, and we are going to select the switch BPN. Whenever we double on the switch BPN, we're gonna add the event listener and then execute some CSS property, and that is basically all we are going to do. So to do that, like I said, we're going to select the switch BPN. We're going to select the play icon and then the pause icon, and then we're going to select this span of myself. Okay, so to do that, let's say const myself equals to document query selector. Alright, query selector, and the class name that we're looking for is myself. Okay, let's copy it a few more times and paste it, and then pop. Okay, so now we're gonna change the name and then the value. Okay, so here we have switch BPM, and right here as well we have switch BPM. The same thing is applicable to play ball, and then the class name of the icon that we're looking for is play, and the same thing goes to stop ball, and then last name, then we go to add also first. Okay, so what we have to do right now is to add the event listener to the bar. Okay, in this two variables, we want to add the event listener. So to do that, we will call on this play bar that add the event listener, and then one of the variables is the create event. Okay, and then what we have to do is to create the color function. We have our outer function, and now we want to create passing this argument. Okay, it's like this parameter or argument or whatever. Okay, so right after that, we're gonna create the same thing for stop ball that add the listener, and then we go to create event, of course, and then we have our function. Then we have our value right here, which is going to be stop. Okay, this is like the parameter. The next thing that we have to do is to create my function, my func, like so, and then we have a parameter right here, and we will have our arrow function, and then our curly bracket. And one more thing that we really have to do is to already invoke the function right here. So we're going to invoke the function, and this is how it should be. Okay, so inside this place we are going to look into an if statement, like if this parameter is equals to this, and then we want to add something. So if it's not equals to that thing, then we want to remove it. So here we have our if statement, and we'll say if the state is equals to play. Okay, we want to call on myself, and basically let's comment this out so I won't be confused. So let's change the value of this to myself, like so. Then we want to say myself dot class list dot add. So what do we want to add? The class name that we just added, right? So the name of the class name is admin, right? So when we add this class name, while we click on this, you also want to display something, right? You want to display set the play ball icon. You want to set it to none. Okay, so we're gonna go for style, and then display will be equals to what? Will be equals to none. All right, and likewise we will have to call on the stop ball dot style dot display, and then we set that equals to what? Equals to block. Okay, so that is basically what we're gonna do right here. And we will have our else if statement, but if that is not the case, if state is equals to stop. Okay, I want to set myself dot class list dot remove. We want to remove the value of the CSS animation property, and we want to set the value back to its normal position. Like we want to set the paper dot style dot display. We want to set it equals to block. All right, we want to set it back equals to block, and stop ball dot style dot display. And we want to set it to none. So whenever we click on one, the other one will not be displayed, and whenever we click on the other one, the other one will not be displayed. So that is basically what really happened. So let's check our animate property variable, and now make sure that you add this property value 5 seconds to everything, because sometimes you might forget to add it, and if you didn't add it, it's not gonna work. Okay, so now let's check it out. And let's click on it, and now it's working. Okay, it's working perfectly, and you can see the index that takes place at 28%, which is very, very cool. And the other thing that you can do is you can click on this button, and then you should stop the animation, but it's not working. And let's try to find out what is the problem. And I realized that it didn't work because the value that we pass right here shouldn't be the one. And what work because I realized that this C is letter C. This thing, I might not know that this thing is the cause of my pause button not working. But let's change it, and let's see how it works. This is very, very insane, you know. You might spend several months without knowing that that is the cause of your code not working. And you can see how nice the animation is running. And of course you can click on the button and then stop the animation, but it's still not stopping. But let's try to check it out. So animation, okay, stop. I just realized that here is another bug right here. That is why this thing wasn't working, and you just have to be cool with that. And I basically leave this because you're familiar with how to budget the bugs and try to find a solution to that. So now we can play the button, and at the same time we can actually remove the button whenever we click on it. Okay, so what we are really going to do now is that we are going to add some kind of functionality to the scrolling, and whenever we toggle on this, it's gonna direct us to a specific to the home page, but we don't want to display this thing until we get to a specific height. Okay, we don't want to display this thing before we get to a specific height. So what we are going to do now is to we are going to call on the class name that represents the value, which is the scroll link. Okay, which is the scroll link. Let's copy. Okay, let's copy like so, and come back to our JavaScript. So add functionality to the scroll length. Okay, so now we want to create a variable from scroll length like so, and equals to dot query selector, and it's equals to this class name scrolling. And what we have to do right now is to add an event listener. Okay, so it's going to be window dot add event listener, and we want to be listening to scroll event, not click event. Okay, we want to be listening to scroll event. So let's write scroll, and then we have our callback function. Right after our callback function, we have our join button. So all we have to do now is to create another function, and we name it top link. So it will be equals to window dot page y offset. And what this one does is that it will give you the minimum height at which you scroll your web page. Okay, so when you scroll your web page, it will give you the minimum height of the scroll that took place on your web page. So what we're gonna do after that is that we're gonna say if the top link is greater than 500 pixels, we create at 500. Okay, we want something to happen. We created a class of show link right under this, the contact section, I guess, and we created a class of show link. So when the value of this is greater than 500 pixels, we want to add this class list. We want to add it to the top link. Okay, we want to add it to show link rather. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have our if statement. If the top link is greater than 500 rather, we want to call on the scroll link, the variable that we created just now, and then we want to set the class list dot add. We want to add what? We want to add show link. Okay, so else if that's not the case, then we want to remove the scroll link. Okay, scrolling the class list dot remove, just remove show link. So that is basically all we have to do. And now if you click on, let's refresh, and it's gonna still visible, but I don't know why. And the reason why it didn't show and hide is because we have already set the visibility to hidden. So we have to uncomment this. So after we uncomment this, now it should work. And now it should work. And it should work. Currently it's not visible, and when we scroll and it gets to if the value is greater than 500, now it should display right here. So if it's not, we're going to remove it, but if that is the case, it's going to be added, and we'll be able to scroll back to the top when it appears. And currently this is all we have to add in our web page. And the next thing that we have to do is to add animate or scroll. So for us to add animation or scroll, we will have to use the library as well. So to do that, we are going to go to a specific website, which is animate or scroll, which is JavaScript. So when we get to animate or scroll on our web page, and you see this link right here, just click on it. It's going to direct you to their main website right here. So just click on this icon, this GitHub icon, and it's going to direct you to this particular data profile. And right here you can make use of the link, the external link, so as to add any animation that you really want to. So there are different ways on how to add animation or scroll to your web page, but you can use npm, you can use yarn, you can use AOS package. But what we're gonna use is the CDN. Okay, the CDN link. The first thing that we're gonna do is click on this first icon, right, the first link right here, and we will add it in our HTML. In our HTML file, okay, right in the head tag. Okay, we'll have that and then copy it. So we go back to the GitHub profile, and we are going to copy all this code. And when we copy it, we are going to paste this code right under the end of the body, before the end of the body tag. Okay, so we're gonna paste it right here, and that is basically all we have to do. So there is one more thing. There's one more thing to do. We will go back to this page, and then for us to initialize the animate or scroll, we will have to actually add the data AOS, and then the value we will have to add it to all the div that we actually want to add to it. Okay, we actually add this value to all the div element that we want to make any changes on. So with that said, let's go back to our HTML tag, and we start from the top. Okay, we start from the top, from our body, from section 2, which is the section 2 right here, and right in this h1 tag, we are going to add the class name that we just copied, and in our case, the data AOS will be what will be fed in. So if we go back to our portfolio website and scroll, we should see this thing, but it's still loading. It's still loading, so let's try to add a few more data OS to different HTML elements right here. So the next one that we will do is the paragraph 2 wrapper, and we're gonna add this, just copy and paste it, I then set the data erase and let us go to any direction that you want. So in my case, this one will be fade up, and my test cube as well, I will add it right here, and it's going to be fade up as well. Going to be fade up as well. It's going to be fade up as well. Or rather, instead of fade up, or instead of adding it right here, we are going to add it right here, and we change the value to slide up, and basically you just have to make sure that you add it to all the elements that you really want to add. And right here as well, we're going to add it, and you might say fade up as well. And inside this our block section, block wrapper, you might add different value, like fading or so, or any other value that you want. So if I show you the fact that this thing actually works. So as you can see how it is fading in, but the fact is that we just have to set the duration at which each element will fade in. So to do that, let's scroll down to this specific side, and we add our curly bracket, and then we set some kind of value to it. Okay? So the kind of value that I really want to pass is that I want the duration of the animation to be 1500 milliseconds. Okay, and then the easing should be easing out. Okay, so if you don't really know about this, you can make sure that you read the doc on the Jira profile that I just showed you, and whenever you see, you scroll and everything you keep on scrolling. Okay, which is very 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 cool. You can just try it out, and you actually find cool animate or scroll effect that you can use on your next project. So this is the end of the project, and thanks for watching, and I hope that you gain one or two things out of what I have been doing so far, even though it's not the best of the tutorial, but I hope you get something. So thank you very much for following me to the end of this video.